Hello, welcome back to Otter Pop Culture, and today we're going over the fifth album by Marina and the Diamonds called Now Just Marina, called Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land. This album came out I want to say like a week ago. I had a request from a user named going by Chocolate Milk. He requested this, or they requested this song, or this album, because they were curious to see if I was interested in this album, so I'm checking it out, and wow. Complete wow. Like, I'm not really a huge Marina and the Diamonds fan. Like, not in a bad way. Not that I think she's horrible or anything. I think she does good music. I just think that her music never really like connected entirely with me. Like, I know a lot of people that love her. I know a lot of people that just praise her every step that she makes, and I really applaud them for that because there are some songs like I loved. Electra Heart was one of the most album I actually invested in. And then I tried to get into Fruit because everybody was pushing me towards Fruit. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll get into Fruit. But I still didn't really feel anything. I just didn't really connect it. And then Love and plus Fear was something that I personally forced myself into get into. I was like, I'm going to like her. There's appeal to her. I can see a piece of it, but I'm going to like her. And I liked some songs, and then one song I did like ended up kind of over time not being a really good song to me. So here I am with the fifth album, getting requests again to dive into her, to get into her, and I'm kind of happy I did. I'm very happy I did, actually, because I was expecting not to like this album. I was expecting to go, okay, I've heard some singles, and some of the singles are political, and one of them are really good. The other one's kind of like, I mean, it's pretty on the nose. But I will say this, and I'll say this over and over again. It's all about the order of the album. Singles mean nothing. I cannot express it enough. Like, this album is a great example of that. It makes it seem... Her singles remind me a lot of kind of Lady Gaga singles, where it's just like, you don't... The singles are decent, but the first single really has to grow on you. And then by the time it grows on you, then you're like, okay, now I'm waiting for the album. But the album makes way more sense when it's in order. When you listen to it as a full, I think that this is exactly what happened with this. I listened to it full on, and the singles makes so much more sense now they're in the actual order of what the idea of this album is supposed to be. So, Marina is a LA-based singer now. She was previously London-based, and she's been doing this since 2010. And yeah, so let's get into this. This album pretty much is about pretty much America. It feels like to me it's about her experience with being an American in the most horrible time and best time at the same time, like bittersweet time where we're learning about all of the shit that we're going through that we need to get into, that we need to take accountability to fix before things get worse. And then on the other side, she also was going through a breakup too. So over a guy who cheated on her, and they were together for a very long time. Her longest relationship, she says, to date. So it's a mixture between those two. We start off with a lot of social songs, and then we mingle into the other half, which is much more about her self-worth and the relationship she was previously in. So let's go over some of the songs, including some with some shout outs to some songs I didn't star on, which is really just two of them, but they're also really good songs too. There's no skips in this album, honestly. I will just say that right now. So let's start off with Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land. I felt like this song was just, the thing about Marina that I think I have an issue that I can't connect with is that some of her songs sound like it sounds a little dated in a way where it sounds like this sounds like something I've heard. This sounds like this sound really clicks back when like 2012, where that was really into it, even further, maybe a little bit further back too. But for some reason it clicks in this album. Like, if you ignore that whole part, it's a great song. This song pretty much talks about how in the past dreams that we've always thought to make ourselves and live in a better world, we're still kind of living in those type of like ancient dreams now in this modern world. It's we're revisiting those stuff. So all the stuff that the ancestors fought for us so we can have a better world, we're now in that space where we're now one of those, we're now the ancestors because we're also going through a bit of a rut to make it better, and we're fixing it so in the future people generations can live in a better life. And this one just talking about how as she says, from the day you were born, you're not here to conform. Pretty much saying don't follow the lead of everybody else telling you to be like them, like be you, you know. Man's World is the first single off this album, which I really did like. So much to unpack. Like the whole burn me at the stake, you thought I was a witch. Centuries ago, now you just call me a bitch. Just the whole she just completely parallels the whole idea of what used to happen compared to how it's happening still, but this is a different way. Another quote that I really love is she talks about the Beverly Hills Hotel, which is, I did not know this, that it was previously owned by a sheik who, in his country, passed this kind of like law or whatever that pretty much says that if a gay man, or if somebody is with another person, or pretty much excuse to kill a lot of gay men in his country. And apparently he killed thousands. And so it's a kind of thing where she's pointing out all these things that we're surrounded by that also are just like, those are also just as toxic, just happen to not, they all happen to have been now, you know, or happen around this time kind of thing. We're still pretty much pointing out we're still living in a processed world, a world that we still need to improve on. And I love the part that she says the planet has a funny way of stopping a fight. Pretty much saying that, pretty much talking about the pandemic, pretty much just like, we were at war with a lot of people. We have been at war with a lot of people. We had Russia. We had issues with Russia. We had issues with recent people too. I can't even keep count because I know that Trump was really not really get along with anybody, honestly, other than stupid people. But like, so it was kind of a mess. It was a complete mess. And then all of a sudden, pandemic happened where everybody had to get inside or else you'll die. Oh, she'll die from a virus. And so she's pointing out that maybe this is Mother Earth pretty much doing something about it herself by saying, like, you know what? I'm going to stop these wars. We are polluting the earth, polluting my world. There's a fucking virus for all you guys to deal with. And completely, it changes some things. Like, more animals were coming out. There's more greenage that's growing. There's much more. The world has actually become a little bit less polluted, and it's kind of it is thanks to the pandemic. Purge the poison pretty much is exactly what that is. Purging the poison of our system, as she says in the lyrics. This whole part, it's just I'll just tell you right now, I am so like, I had to read all of these like lyrics because I wrote down so many because she says really good lyrics. Like one that says, nothing's hidden anymore. Capitalism made us poor. Same thing. It made us poor. We live in a capitalism world where it's not benefiting us anymore. It's never did. I don't think it ever did. I think it benefited us at some point in some way that we like to pretend like it did. But as it warped over time, it just became completely exactly what we're seeing it today, and we're done with it. A lot of people were talking about it. It's really great. Highly Emotional People is talking about about relationships, how they have to be more authentic to actually carry on. And the idea that, she also on the same note is talking about toxic masculinity, how men are not really meant to show emotions, and if they do, it has to do with their strength. If they do that, like, it means they're weak and everything. And so she talks about it kind of comparing to her past relationship, how she's like, I never seen you cry. And she knows why. She knows why because it's society. She says people say men don't cry. It's so much easier just to lie till somebody takes their life. Life or emotions are part of our design. Pretty much saying no one really cares until they take their life, and then you're like, oh, I wonder why. And then, but no one still to that day still doesn't connect. I still think that there is one piece that men don't have is just the fact that when a lot of men take their lives, but that some of this could be connected to the direction that we're not allowed to show our emotions. We're not allowed to, like, if we do, we're making it weak. And not only does past generations and other men make that rule be placed, but unfortunately women do the same thing too. I don't want a guy that takes longer in the mirror than I do. Why? Is that an issue? Does that take away his manliness towards you? Like, what does that mean? And I feel like that kind of thing is just that just makes the whole society think that men need to be a certain way to show power. And now we have men doing stupid shit because of power, or always had. New America is another one I really like. I might as well just go throughout the whole album. It's another one I really like. Pretty much just listing all the things that we're having going wrong so far, but saying that now that we know this is happening, and now that everybody knows this is happening, this is something that we can now, you can't hide anymore. America can't hide all these issues that they had in the past, or they having now. Like, you can't just say, like, oh, people are just being lazy, they can't get a job. It's like, no, we can't get a job because of you, or not, well, maybe they should follow the law because black people should follow the law if they don't want to get shot. And it's just like, no, there's racism, And so I think that's it's pretty much what she's talking. She's like, now that we've seen this, now that it's been acknowledged, now you can't ignore it, Excuse me. Pandora, can't talk today. Pandora's box is the beginning of talking about the relationship that she was in. This one talks about her ex who cheated and kind of talks about it more and says, like, one quote she says, you damaged what we had, but for her it's just another day. Pretty much insinuating that there's a possibility that the person that he was cheating with has no idea that he's in a relationship or a very committed relationship. And it also seems like it's a mixture between not only the cheating was an issue, but it seems like he was treating her like a punching bag in a way. As she says, I thought it would get better. I kept my hope alive, but I don't want to be a bearer of pain just so we can survive. That's pretty deep. That's pretty intense. And I feel like that kind of direction is just mirrors. Like, there's just so, not only is the cheating was a thing, which is, I'm sure that's the last straw, but this thing has been an ongoing thing going on, and cheating was just the last straw. I love you, but I love myself more is pretty much going into that further by saying that she wants to take more responsibility for her own life and not be in a relationship because she loves him, kind of thing. As she says, you try to tell me that we're so deep in love, then why did we mess it up? And then one part that she says, you only care about me when it suits you. And then one part that which is a whole direction seems like it doesn't, he's kind of he's more into his own kind of love. I think he might be in love with the love of having her more than actually being in love with her. And then she says one thing that's very interesting: women love too early, men love too late, and now your promises they just suffocate. Pretty much saying that it's common to see women fall in love first. They realize they're in love immediately when they're with somebody, with a guy, and then the guy doesn't really realize what he has until they're completely gone, and they're like, oh, I was in love. And it's like, yeah, you should have made that known before. Flowers is a very beautiful song, even though it is talking about more of a relationship. This one's kind of looking back at the relationship, and I wrote a lot down in this one. This one actually talks about a couple things of just idea of there's times where she thought she could get back with him. the temptation of getting back with him because she's finally bettering her life, and she's feeling better about her life too, so she's in a better place. So she points out, she's like, and it's most tempting to give in when you almost at the top, when you're steps away from winning back all the happiness you lost. It's illusion. And I think that's what she's saying. It's just like, I felt that, but I knew in the truly that it wasn't the case that I should go for. And then finally, goodbye is saying goodbye to her past self, whoever she was in the relationship, whoever she was in the past, of doing stuff that she kind of learned on, like, for example, she's been known as like kind of a workaholic, and so she really sacrificed a lot of things to kind of get to where she is, but she realizes that some of the things did not need to be sacrificed. And with that said, she's not as connected with certain people, including, like, as I read, of her dad. Now she's in a better relationship with him now, but before she wasn't. This one just says, it's just a farewell. She's like, I don't regret who you were as myself, but it's now time for me to move on to be a better person than I was. So goodbye to the old me, here's the new me kind of thing. I think that's a very beautiful ending to an album. I really love this album. I give it a 10 out of 10. I give it a complete 10 out of 10. I'm so surprised that I liked it. I was really going in, I was like, here we go. I'm just going to be another Marina that doesn't really connect with me again. I'm just so frustrated because everybody loves her. But yeah, I love it. I think it's a good album. I'm very impressed. Leave a comment below, tell me what you thought. If you have history with her, let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe button, and a notification bell too, so you get more of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Chocolate Milk, for requesting this beautiful album, and I'll see you all in the next video.